Now, most South Africans continue to enjoy one of the longest load-shedding free periods in years. Eskom has managed to keep the lights on for more than a month now, and they say there are no power cuts on the horizon for the foreseeable future. But some residents of Soweto say they seem to be living in another country. They're battling prolonged power cuts due to cable theft and the failure of transformers. Zola Sholwana is tracking that story for us, and she joins us now live. Yeah, Zola, certainly not a good story to tell all across the country. There are very particular areas that are also still experiencing power cuts, what we called unplanned maintenance. But one just wonders, is it unplanned maintenance, or is this how we actually are able to keep the lights on by putting the lights off in other communities?
Well, Michelle, if you had to ask some residents in some parts of Soweto, they would say that they can't relate to what other South Africans out there are celebrating about of almost a month without having load shedding, because for them it's constant power outages that are usually prolonged, and for them to be heard they have to obviously now protest and block main roads so that their issues are fixed. But a question that a lot of people don't get to ask, Michelle, is that what is the root of these prolonged outages? Obviously maintenance is one of them, but the biggest issue is the issue of cable thefts, especially in townships like Soweto, and also the issue of illegal connections, with some residents saying that almost every week, a cable is stolen from their substations, which means that they need to brace themselves for another long period of not having electricity. But to tell us more, we are joined by one of the residents. So thank you very much for your time. I mean, I can see that you are trying to protect your mini substation, and that is mainly because a lot is happening here, which is obviously impacting you as residents, and also economic activity that is happening in this area.
Sure. Yeah, Zola, the sad reality is that we as the community of Pimville, we are faced with cable theft, and we've raised this matter several times to the relevant people at Eskom, the relevant people in government, speaking about our issues. So constantly we have blackouts. Every week, every second week, we've got cable theft within the community. That is leaving the community in a very stressful situations. We've got all the citizens within our community that are always in this very bad, or rather dire situations, And an example is the kind of infrastructure that we have in our communities that is not properly being fixed, but instead they are not even maintaining them. It's just a situation whereby they're just making sure that we get by as the community. And what we are crying for is that we need proper infrastructure to be guarded. Our cables are running in a felt whereby there's a stream of water, and we don't understand that how is our cables whereby electricity and water don't go together. And we've been speaking about this cable theft whereby our cables are being mined on the daily. And our community, as you know, Pimville is an old community, and it's a very rich community in terms of resources. So it's a very dire situation, and we're still not being heard by Eskom management, and we're still having meetings week in, week out. The community leaders are, hard at work, pleading to the management at Eskom to help the community actually, settle this problem that we have of infrastructure vandalism.
Another issue which I believe leads to a lot of these prolonged power cuts is the issue of illegal connections amongst communities. I believe that also residents have a part to play as well. Of course, it's a conversation that a lot of people don't want to engage in.
Sure. I mean, truth be told, we live in a country whereby corruption is the foundation of it. And the sad reality is that, yes, there are illegal connections within the community, but let's look at what the problem is. The tariff hikes are expensive, and that's what the issue is. NERSA itself, 500 rand doesn't go a long way for our own people. As community leaders, as the community, we do advocate for people to actually stop illegal connections. Eskom is playing a role in that. They come and they do their duties whereby they cut off communities who have illegal connections. And, obviously that's a crime. It's infrastructure vandalism. But the main source of this is that what is NERSA doing about it? Why are our tariff hikes, so high? And 500 Rand is supposed to go a long way for people, but it's not. Yes, we do have backward dwellers, which is a problem, and we do address that. Yes, we do have a lot of residents within our community, but we also advocate that they also have backup power to actually, suppress, and help us with our transformers. Our transformers are old at the end of the day, but we need to speak about why is Eskom not maintaining our infrastructure so that we know not to tamper with the, with the infrastructure of our communities that giving us electricity. But if Eskom itself is not maintaining the infrastructure that we are given, then it's going to be a problem for the community. As you can see, look at this box. It's not, the community was promised a new box. They moved from number 5 to number 1. But when they were supposed to get their box, its promises they're not met. The Premier itself, and Tate Panyaza, spoke about, settling all the substations that don't have transformers, communities that don't have transformers. But it's all about promises that are never met, and the community still is fighting for a proper infrastructure of electricity.
Thank you very much for your time, Kiabetswe. That was obviously, someone that's been greatly impacted, Michelle, by what has been happening with regards to electricity in Soweto, specifically this area of Pimville, with them essentially saying that they want the relevant parties, mentioning the power utility, which is Eskom, to, be held accountable for how things are transpiring in their areas. I mean, this substation is constantly vandalized, which means that security perhaps needs to be beefed up in those areas. And the issue of illegal connections, he says that he blames community members, but obviously NERSA has a role to play on that one as well. Back to you in studio.
Zola Sholwana, thanks very much indeed for that update.